Let's welcome in now former NFL player Jack Brewer, and for the Philadelphia Eagles, my good friend Vince Papale. Two legends here on the John Bachman Show. All right, Jack, give us your thoughts on the Shedeur Sanders situation. A fifth-round pick. What happened?
Tough. You know, he was my favorite quarterback coming into the draft, and unfortunately, you start hearing chatter about his poor interviews from multiple teams, actually. I think the one thing that was a big question mark around Shedeur is his ability to have pocket presence, step into the pocket. Most of his throws, he takes outside of the pocket. In the National Football League, that just won't work. You know, but I'm a big believer that you can train those things. You can teach those things. And so it's unfortunate that he failed. I also think it had a lot to do with some of the outside things that Shedeur brings. You know, he's a flashy guy. You know, he's promoting jewelry and chains, and sometimes, you know, he got rappers coming around him and bringing all that attention to an organization. Is not always what people wanted. So I think that had a lot to do with the reason why he slipped. It's definitely not athletic ability, but an NFL quarterback is the name and the brand of $1 billion corporation, and so you have to take all these things into account.
Well, the good thing for Shedeur is he'll have a chance to prove himself now. We got just a few months away from training camp, and I'm sure there'll be lots of media surrounding Shedeur. We also had that prank call, which we'll leave aside. That was a low blow. What happened? We'll set that aside. Yeah, and Vince's son Vinny was getting married this past weekend, so we're not going to ask Vince for any draft takes, which is understandable. But I do want to talk about Saquon Barkley, who was hanging out with President Trump. And Vince, you know, we saw a lot of football players doing the Trump dance. So this isn't new that they like President Trump. We've heard the cheers that the president gets when he goes to a sporting arena. But Saquon getting a lot of criticism for hanging out with the president. That's not fair, is it?
Well, you know, unfortunately, what happens, the guy, you know, he's just a guy. You know, he's a football player, and the president loves him. And I know President Trump all the way back when he was the owner of the Generals, and that was the original USFL. You know, so he's really had a lot of love and a lot of stuff going on with football. You know, so for Saquon to be with him, why not? You know, why does it have to become political all the time? You know, I mean, it's just a guy and it's two guys really enjoying each other, especially out on the golf course. I wish I'd have been there with them, but you know what it is.
Yeah, hopefully there's some video, social media that will get leaked out on the golf course, because it's always interesting to see President Trump play golf with another athlete. You guys always have like these amazing abilities to not just be good at one sport, but also somehow be amazing at golf as well. And he's always trading tips. And I've always heard President Trump, too, like he gets really into it when you're playing golf with someone. He's very complimentary if you hit a good shot. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm sure we'll see the chemistry today at the White House. So, Vince, you get to go to the White House today with the Eagles to celebrate their Super Bowl victory. Long time coming here. And I think it's nice. I think we can say it's nice that we don't have to worry about President Trump fumbling the opportunity to host a sporting team at the White House like we saw with the previous administration. Right, Vince?
I think he'll do just fine. Yeah, everything will be working fine.
Yeah, and Jack, you obviously know President Trump very well. In these types of situations, he seems to excel.
I mean, he's a man's man, but he's an athlete's man. I remember the first time I actually got a chance to sit down with him was at the same golf course there in Bedminster, and you know, he just has that ability. I mean, remember he was a pro team owner. He owned it. And you talk to guys like Herschel Walker, who he drafted, and so many other athletes that he's close with. He goes into a stadium for a UFC fight, and the entire crowd goes wild. And so I applaud Saquon. No, Saquon Barkley is one of the highest character guys, not just in the NFL, but in all of sports. I mean, look at it from the way he approached his collegiate career to what he does now. You never hear any trouble about him off the field. You talk about a classy guy. It's Saquon Barkley. This is the type of guy that we need our kids to look up to. And I think that's what President Trump was showing the nation, and that's exactly what he said to those cameras. And so we need more role models like Saquon Barkley. Good for you. I hope they have an incredible time today at the White House. What an honor.
And Jack, you played on the Giants. I mean, are you ever going to forgive your former franchise for giving up Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, I played for the Giants and the Eagles, and I can tell you every Giant fan across America was hurt by seeing that move. I mean, you talk about a kid that is arguably the best running back of our time, man. It's incredible to watch him. So, yeah, as an old blue guy, that's a tough one, John.
And Vince, I mean, what does Saquon mean for the city of Philadelphia now, especially after the Super Bowl victory?
Oh, he's a gem. Everybody loves him. You know, when he first came in, one of my best buddies is Lee Cohen, and he's a foot doctor for the Eagles. And as soon as he came in, he just talked about what a great guy was, a character guy that he is, you know. So, and he'll fit right into the Philadelphia mold, you know. He's a tough guy. He's a lunch pail kind of a guy, you know. Just the fact when he had an opportunity to set the new NFL record with rushing, you know, he sidelined himself. It tells you about his character and his humility. He sidelined himself so other guys would have an opportunity, and the game was totally a blowout for the Eagles. So there's a lot to be said for Saquon. He fits right into the Philly mold, and we're really excited to have him. And I got to tell you something, everybody on that offense and defense is excited to have him too, because he gives the defense a little bit of a break. But there's so many different options, you know, with him and the things that he can do. But I'll tell you what, the best one was when he popped backwards and jumped over. Instead of most guys hurdling over,
play.
He goes over backwards. I mean, that's going to be forever, ever known in Philadelphia.
Well, it's a little difficult for me, an SEC guy, to admit that he might be the best running back in the game right now in NFL, but I can do that. I can see the facts. And I should say, too, Vince is my neighbor. It's always difficult having an NFL alumni as a neighbor, because he's out there when I'm doing yard work telling me I need to be going harder. It's like it's practice out there for me every day. But he does give me a Corona when I finish up, so that's good. And great to have.
Yeah, every once in a while. Yeah, you need to do that. You know, you have to refresh yourself. That's the important part. So,
refreshments,
yeah, the best neighbor I could possibly have.
That's
right,
Vince.
You've got a great family with great athletes.
Oh, well, thank you, Vince. And we'll see you at the White House at 4 o'clock today. So glad you could be with us. And, Jack, great for having you here with us as well to give your perspective on Saquon. We'll see you both in the near future. Gentlemen, thank you.
You're welcome, John. Thanks, buddy.